So guys, this is my first competing season wrap up. Cuba wanted me to do one, so I'm going to do one for you. So obviously I did 2 competitions this year. Firstly the Sasquatch Pro, and then onto the Arnolds. We'll speak about them both a little bit more in detail, but I think it's probably better if I just speak about my competitive season on a whole to begin with. So for me it was really successful. I won't lie, because it's better to be open and honest. I wanted the next time that I stepped on stage to be a top 3 and no less, and obviously that didn't happen. Obviously lots of progression was made in regards to the look of my physique. My weight was only up 1 kilogram from my last competitive season in 2021. Compared to obviously this season, I would have or could have probably been a lot leaner last season. So lots of progress was made definitely from 2020 to 2021. But kind of in terms of an overall really well balanced good figure look, I would say that this season was the best. Obviously I came from bikini in 2018, and obviously my approach in regards to everything is to be smart and sensible and not to rush my process. That's because I want to stay feminine. I still want to be able to have female monthly cycles. Obviously when you get into the depths of prep, because of body fat percentages, obviously that becomes something of the past, but I actually only missed one. I actually had one just before the Sasquatch Pro, so definitely a healthy prep from my perspective. Many people don't really care if they don't have one. For me, that's not the case. I would like to have children in the future, and I would like to also be able to be fit and healthy, looking and feeling like a female for as long as I possibly can. And some people don't have that perception. I have no negative thoughts or feelings towards someone who doesn't, but for me personally, that's what I would like to do. I get many comments on YouTube specifically, few on Instagram around, saying obviously your voice has changed, you look like a man, etc. I personally don't think that I look like a man. I do have muscles, and even when I'm in kind of an off-season setting or away from my competitive season, I definitely look like I have muscles. I don't think that that's an unfeminine look. It's something that I've always wanted. I've always been in sport for a long time, and that kind of muscular look to me is something that I've always wanted. So to me that is feminine, that is strong, and if that's my opinion, then the people who have that opinion and comment saying that, that's your opinion for sure, but perhaps keep it to yourself, because some people aren't quite as strong-willed or as hard-faced as what I am, and it can really, really crack someone. I wouldn't be someone to go to a pub or to a social event and someone that was overweight, I would never go and point that out to anybody. I would love to be able to help them be more healthy, but it's not something that I would ever pass judgment on, because I know that that would hurt someone's feelings. And if that's the look that I want, and if that's something that I want to do with my physique, then allow me to do that without making those comments or regards, because I just don't think that it's warranted. So yeah, that is my thoughts on that one. But back to the competitive season, it was still a super success, even though obviously the main goal for me wasn't quite achieved. 2 top 6 placings, one of them being at the Arnold Classics. The Arnold Classic this year in the UK was definitely a very high standard. Obviously last year, and both years that I've competed in figure for the last 2 years, has been restrictive in terms of the fact that not everybody's been able to travel everywhere because of coronavirus. So everyone's been able to travel everywhere, meaning that there's kind of people from all over the world competing within Europe, competing in the States, etc, etc. So it's made the pool of athletes definitely a little bit more competitive, and definitely towards the end of the season, with kind of the lineups being very, very, very large in figure. I've not seen a lineup yet be less than kind of 25, 26, so it's a good feat. being first call-outs. So, yeah, onto the specifics. So the Sasquatch Pro was out in Seattle. Obviously, the first time I've ever competed in the States. I was very lucky to take people like Katie, who really helped with the travel and getting things sorted on show day, Carl, who was there to obviously film it, Jade, who was also competing there, one of Cuba's bikini athletes, and then Cuba on hand as always via the telephone, because obviously he was 2 weeks out, so to expect him to go to that competition would be so selfish of me. And if anybody's in that position and expects their partner to travel at that point out, let them do their own thing, because I wouldn't expect him to expect me to do that, because a 10-hour flight and that time difference for someone who's that far out, that would be so unfair. Anyway, onto it. The peak went very well. I felt very good. I felt very relaxed. I didn't feel stressed. The jet lag didn't really get me, and came away with a first place call out.
Yes, Meg. Beautiful, Meg. Absolutely stunning.
Quarter turn to the right.
Beautiful.
Quarter turn to the right.
Excellent.
Quarter turn.
Yeah, Meg. Yeah, Meg.
Good competition, was so well ran, and it was such an honour to be able to be judged by Sandy Williamson, who's actually the female head judge for the Olympia. It's actually the reason why I would have loved to have done that show. There was a show 2 weeks after the Arnold's that I was going to do, but it was actually created into a natural show, so obviously I wasn't able to do that one. So we jumped into the Sasquatch, and I was very happy with the look. Got some great feedback from her, and I think that when someone of that calibre of head judge is giving that feedback, it's something to be really taken on board with. And then we moved on to the Arnold's. I wasn't actually expecting anything at the Arnold's, because there was a large pool of ladies who've either come top 3 or at first in their kind of competitions that they've done in the Pro League, and obviously a few of them had already qualified for the 2022 Olympia, which to me was just an honour to be able to actually experience it. So I went in with no real pressure, no expectations or anything like that, and I actually came away with 5th. So I'm going to show you that one now.
Ladies, quarter turn to the right. Quarter turn to the right. Quarter turn to the right. Face front. Quarter turn to the right. Quarter turn to the right. Quarter turn to the right. Face front. Thank you, ladies. Back in line.
And that weekend went really well. It was such an honour to be able to compete alongside Cuba. We hadn't been able to do that for 2 years, and I haven't actually been able to compete in the UK for since 2018. So big up to Two Bros and Ian and the Pro League for allowing for that to happen. It was honestly amazing to be able to compete on home soil. It was definitely a little bit less stressful than travelling around. The meet and greet was amazing. I enjoyed every second of it. People coming to say hello and take pictures and experience the actual show day, and obviously coming away with a really great placing as well, and then again getting some really fantastic in-depth feedback from the head judges, obviously Bill Sibilia, who gave some incredible feedback, and everything that will be taken on board from all of the other judges as well. JP, Maz and Peter pretty much all aligned with the feedback and what we pretty much had in our minds anyway. Could I have pushed on for more shows? Yeah, like I could have dieted for longer. Would it have made it so that I would have qualified for the Olympia this year? No, my physique is not yet at that standard. There is more depth needed in certain areas. There is definitely muscle mass everywhere now where we don't really need to focus as much on overall size. More depth and density everywhere, but more depth needed in specific places like my back and my glutes, just to have that real wow factor on stage. But I'm going to take my time to do that because I don't want to lose my shape. I think my shape is something that is unique. I think that it's something that makes me stand out a little bit, and it's not something that I want to rush, because if I do, I would risk losing my shape. And if you are a bodybuilding fanatic, you will obviously understand what that means. So I'm really appreciative, obviously, of everything that Kuba gives to me in terms of knowledge, guidance, for my own development as a coach. Also obviously through my process of an athlete. Obviously I wouldn't be where I am as an athlete if it wasn't for Cooper, and it was also really amazing for him to trust me in the last kind of 6 to 8 weeks and now leading into off season alongside Jordan and alongside obviously Luke for his prep, just to aid with him and his progress. I think from a mindset perspective, there's bits that I can bring to the table, alongside, I would say, some great knowledge with training and bodybuilding now, given the fact that I have been doing it for a while. But it's a real honour that he trusts for me to be able to do that, and I'm really excited to see his progress for the next kind of little while. We both won't compete until 2024. but it will not be the end of 2024. We will start prep at the end of next year, and compete at the beginning of the year after. My goal is to go to the Olympia in 2024. I do think it's achievable. You never know who turns up on the day, so you can't be disappointed ever in your result. But I do think it's achievable. I think that I wouldn't like to get there on points. I would want to win a show to be able to go to the Olympia, because I don't want to go there to just take part. Perhaps it is a show that is something that you just want to take part in, but I would like to go there and stand on stage and not look out of place. And I do think that I do need a solid good push-up before that can be achieved. So it'd be nice to be able to do that together. And I know that Kuba will be definitely up the ranks at that point as well. Neither of us will ever be mass monsters. We both have very good shape, but it will take time for us to build upon that frame using a sensible, more smarter approach. I'm not going to say safer use, because obviously not everything, or it's not safe, and we're not promoting for that, but you can be sensible and you can still stay looking like a woman if you are a savage with every other part of the process. But yeah, I'm not genetically gifted. Cuba's not the most genetically gifted in the way in which we grow or the way in which we've been born, so it will take time. But we both love it, we both breathe it, and we will both get to where we want to be in time. I am very aware that this video is now very long, but there was probably quite a little bit to get off my chest. Per show, we bumped up foods a little bit. I don't really need to see my foods bump up too high, because they didn't end too low, and I'm also not someone that would ever be inadherent. I've been doing it for long enough and I'm not that type of person, so I don't need that, but enough bump up to see a good body weight and to also regain the cycle that obviously I lost once within prep, and have been a little bit poorly per show. I've had appendicitis, so just going through the process of getting a little bit better, so hopefully we'll be back on my feet with a little bit more content on this channel, alongside Cuba, just to allow you to see our journey, see our process, and hopefully take some kind of inspiration, motivation from that as well. But yeah, that is the 2022 season.